clay, obviously try and throw it down in the middle as much as possible. You might want to pat it down a little bit, make sure it gets stuck. There you go. Show that clay who's boss. That was a good idea. What I like to have beginners do, that's right, yeah. What I like to have beginners do is like take your finger, get a little wet, you're going to use your middle finger, turn the wheel on very slowly and just push right where it's touching the clay and touching the bat, and just kind of create a seal. Okay, this will help so as you're trying to center it, it doesn't go sliding all over the place. Okay. Once you have it sealed, you can stop. You may want to use a sponge for this. Like take your sponge and just like push into that way. Okay. All right, now I like to preface this by saying I'm going to make this look real easy. And since most of you have some previous experience, you're going to understand that it's not that easy. But again, I'm going to make it look real easy. And I sort of apologize for that. But at the same time, if I didn't make it look real easy, you'd be really wondering why you spent this money. Okay? So I like to start with my yellow sponge soaked with water. Okay? Now just watch me first before you try and start doing it. So it's soaking with water, as you can see. And what I'll do is hold it gently so I can use it almost like a IV drip. All right. My left hand, and you're gonna have to reverse everything, and I'll show it to you if you need it reversed. Are you used to reversing everything in your mind? Okay. My left hand is gonna be on the side like so. My right hand is gonna be on top like karate chop. Just the fingers are holding the sponge in place. I don't want to do this because then I'm gonna lose all the water, right? I want a nice slow drip. So I start slow, especially for beginners. Start slow to start. And I just sort of lean in. My elbow is tucked into my body, resting into my thigh. Okay? And I just kind of like use my body weight and I lean in. And then I start pushing down with my right hand a little bit. I'm going to start increasing the speed and push in a little bit more. And push down a little bit more. In, down. And then I just gently sort of squeeze it. And here's the key. I relax and I let go. And that's how you get some centered clay. Again, I warned you, I was going to make this look really easy. Now, really quickly, I just want to show it left-handed. Okay? Right hand will be here, left hand will be on the top, so I'm pushing in. Now, it's going to be a little weird because you got the foot pedal on the right. It's only connected by a cord. If you want to move it to your left side, you can, but I find most people leave it on the right because they're used to it from driving, okay? But you push in with the right and down on the left and alternate, okay? It's imperative that you alternate and make sure that you do spend some time pushing down. I get a lot of people when they first start, they just start pushing forward with the left and like it just goes flying all over the place. So it's in, down, down. Also, with your left hand, it's only being pushed forward. So try and have it so like your hand is like this. You don't want to be on the side like so, more like that. And it's only being pushed forward, don't push down. I've had some people, they didn't realize that, and they're taking their left hand, they're pushing it into the bat, and like they don't get hurt, but it's like really uncomfortable. So it's only getting pushed this way, okay, forward into you, okay? So push in, push down, gentle squeeze, relax your hands, relax your shoulders, take your hands away. A lot of people, when they take their hands away fast, they knock it off center. They're excited, they've centered it. Like, oh my God, look, and they take it away and they knock it off. By keeping yourself like relaxed, that won't happen, okay? I invite you to, hands are wet. You don't need a sponge for this portion. You keep your left hand on the side, or in your case, sir, the right. You're gonna use the middle finger of your dominant hand. You're going to just gently find where the center is. Keep the wrist nice and low. Elbow tucked into the body. You're going to find this is a consistent theme. You want to keep your elbows as much into your rib cage as you can and resting on your thighs as much as you can. In order that you don't hunch, try and keep your back straight and lean at the hip. Not like this. This isn't great. You want to lean like here, okay? You slide it in, and then you start curling and pushing down. The key is that you try and use just the muscles in your hand. Try not to use the wrist, try not to use your shoulder. I know it's a little weird at first, but you want to just do this. Now if your wrist starts doing this, it's going to get uncomfortable and you're relying a lot on your bone. What I'm talking about is this. See how my wrist is nice and straight, but I'm like just bending the finger and pushing down? That's really what you want to try and do. So I'm here, I'm bending. I'm now going to curl the finger, and then I'm going to pull to me. Typically speaking, you need at least a 2-finger width if you're going to make a cylinder. If you're going to make a bowl or something wider, you want to go wider than that. But for today, for the most part, if you can slip your index finger in there and you can get 2 fingers in, you're good. Stop touching it. Pull your hands away. See how your elbow's out like this? Try and pull your elbow into your body.
Like this?
Yeah. This is like going to put a lot of pressure on the shoulder. It's not going to be comfortable. Keeping everything sort of like here will keep the pressure off the shoulders and off your back. And like really, a lot of it's about body positioning. If you had a hard time in the past doing this, you might have been like this or like elongated and it wasn't as comfortable. Okay? All right. At this point, you're going to want to use your wood knife. You're going to hold it like a pen. Okay. I typically have 2 fingers on the bat and 2 fingers over here. This you can follow along like everyone else for this one. I'm going to rest the knife on here. The blade edge is going to go up against the cylinder that I created, so it's going to go this way. So I have my fingers resting here. I'm keeping contact with the bat. I push up against, and then I start gently pushing down. And as I do this, I'm pushing into the wheel as well. The wheel is turning this way, I'm pushing against it. That'll keep it from like flying this way, okay? And keep me doing a straight cut.
Hand a little bit over your shoulder.
Yep, sure. If you need to see this, come over here, that's fine. So it's here, I work my way down. And I keep going until I hit the base. Okay? Once you've done that, you can stop and take it out. Basically, you're kind of creating like this ribbon or this ring around it. Okay? So hold it like this. Imagine you're holding a pen.
How do you know where to start? Just like a little bit.
Pretty much like kind of at the top-ish, like midway. Yeah. Turn it the other way though. See, like I want the blade touching the play. That's it.
Sorry, I don't think I was following
That's okay. So you're going to have it like this. You're holding like a pen. You want to choke up on it. Have the blade touch the play. Starting roughly about half to 2/3 of the way up. And then push into it and gently work your way going downward. These fingers, you're going to have 2 on the bat and 2 steadying. Now if that's a little complicated or weird for you, you can also take your left hand and hold your right or hold the wrist. I've had people do that. Some have put it on top of the tool itself. They've done it that way. Basically, whatever feels like it's the most secure, that's what you want to do. Not bad. You want to turn it so the blade is touching the blade, like that. Okay. And once you've done that, if you have a ring like I do, we're going to do something. If not, don't worry about it. So if you have a ring, you're now going to switch this and hold it more like a knife, as if you're going to like chop or slice something, okay? You're going to cut in, angle it, and then direct. So I'm going to cut down, angle, and then direct it away. The whole purpose of this is that I'm pushing this ribbon of clay away from the main piece so that way it doesn't get stuck back on. It's very sticky right now. Okay? As this turns, I'm going to gently pull towards me, and that's going to push the clay away. And see, then I got the ribbon here. Okay? So if you want to come back over here, if you want to watch over my shoulder, I'll re-demo it. So I've cut down, I've angled it, and I've now directed it, right? So I've cut in, angle, and direct it. And you can see just by holding this, it's going to like push this way and not up back into the clay. As it turns, I'm pulling it. I'm kind of cutting it off and making sure it doesn't go back onto the piece. So my hand's doing this. It's sort of like an illusion because this is turning, you don't quite see it, but that's where I'm going with that. Okay? Let's go ahead and give that a try. Now, if you didn't get a clean cut in a ribbon, that's okay. I'm going to show you what you do next anyway, which will work for you no matter what. Okay? Holding this in the same way, like down on the bat, blade edge on the bat, I'm just going to push in very low and give a little undercut, which that'll work for everyone's piece.
Like this?
Yep, exactly like that. You're kind of up like this, have it flat against the bat. There you go. After I do the undercut, I flip this back to holding it like a pen with the blade side up. And then I come where the undercut is, I kind of scoot in and I sort of round it out. I do this so that way when I trim it in a week or so, it's a little easier. I've gotten rid of a lot of excess clay. You can round it as much as you like. There's no right or wrong amount of that. It really depends on your style. And if you don't have a style yet, you'll develop it.
What do you do with the clay?
Or just drop it in the splash pan.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use the pin tool, okay, or the needle tool. Now, I don't have a lot of hard and fast rules about things. One that I do have is when you use this, this never goes on the wheel, okay? If the wheel was accidentally left on but not turning, someone could knock into the foot pedal and this can go flying, okay? So it's a major safety issue. And people are like, well, I have the wheel turned off, I have this. You don't want to get into any sort of habit where you just get used to putting it down here. So always put it in front of you, never on the wheel, all right? Now the key to this is that you gently slice into the clay. You don't stab at it. A lot of people, they hear the needle tool and they do this and they try to stab it. It's not what we're doing here. We're not going to shank it like a guy in prison, okay? We're going to very gently slice into it, almost like a soft ping pong serve. Okay, so basically my elbow is tucked in here, my wrist is positioned backward, and I'm just going to gently come across, like so, all right? I'm going to keep my middle finger of my left hand inside, or my less dominant hand, inside the piece, I'm back like this, and I'm just gently pushing into it, letting the rotation of the wheel do a lot of the work for me. I'm just doing this nice and slow. A lot of people try and take this too fast. Once I've made contact, I leave it there for a little while to make sure I've really cut all the way through, and then I can take this off, okay? So never rush this step. Take your time. Now, if you have an uneven top like you want to go below the lowest crater, okay? That's good. Very good job. Slow, easy, gentle. Remember, this is metal, this is soft clay. The metal will win. Let it work for you. Don't try and force it. Good job. Nicely done. Well done. Good. So once you're done with this, please put that down in front of you, away from the wheel. Now, at this point, I like to compress the rim, and I'll use my sponge to do so. I'll wet my fingers just a little bit. I'm going to pinch it with my thumb and my middle finger. I'm going to take this. I usually open up my fingers like a peace sign, and I just let the sponge conform around gently and just press down, okay? This will help round it out. The rounding will make it less likely to chip, more durable in a dishwasher. It'll also make it more comfortable when you drink from it, okay? When it's round to your liking, you can just relax and take your hands away from it. Now, to take this off, I recommend before you do so, you get a board that we have over here, a bunch of like little wood squares. Okay. So I recommend you come over here, grab one, so that we have somewhere to put it.
Thanks.
The way that I like to do this, look, I got these like loops here. Pull it taut, and I usually wrap over my right hand. You can wrap over your left. If you don't want to wrap, you can just pull it tight, however you like. It doesn't matter. But I feel it's best for me that I pull it taut, and I'll usually use my thumbs, but you can also use your index fingers. Completely dependent on what you want. I'm going to push it so it's right down against the bat, and then pull to me. I usually do this about 2, maybe 3 times. Okay? Once I've done that, I'll put this wire tool down. I'll then take my sponge, it's loaded with water. I'm going to pour water between me and where the piece is. Okay? And then finally, I'm going to take my fingertips, specifically the fingertips. I don't want to do this. This can warp the piece. I'm going to take the fingertips, put it at the very base, and then pull to me. Once it hits the water, it'll hydroplane and slide very nicely. And then I can just pick it up and put it on my board. And therefore I've finished and made something. Okay?